Broadcasting live from Bant on the plain of Alara, this is Tap Tap Concede. It's hard to make.
It's like Alara Bant.
It's hard to make Bant sound.
Maybe it's like Bont.
Bont. Broadcasting live from the Bont on the plain of Alara.
Ugh.
This is Tap Tap
I'd like to
Concede.
think that Bant makes up for its kind of weird name by being an awesome color combo.
I'm one of the Winthrop band, or
Winthrop Smythe Bounce.
no, sorry, the Bont Winthrops. Yes, I'm one of the Winthrops from Bont. We called it Bont.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Welcome to Tap Tap Concede, everybody. I'm Graham.
I'm Paul.
And I'm the other person.
The other person being Kathleen,
Yay.
who's not playing along.
No.
Going to talk a little bit about M14 this week, being as that just happened. I can tell you about my pre-release experience. James isn't with us this week because he had to go get someone from the ferry. But first, we are going to do our Crack-a-Pack. For those who are watching, you can see we have a stack here as before, but now only of 18 packs. Thereby the chances of hitting a pack of Homelands ever increasing.
What is it, Paul? 1 and 2 is a reroll.
It's a 19.
All right. So that's second from the bottom. And that is
Nice thing about a
not a pack of Homelands.
Jeez, it's going to be pure Homelands.
nice thing about a
eventually.
D20 that big is that even if it lands on the ground, it's not really cocked dice because
Yeah.
there's nothing
Right,
can
since
really
I have-
disrupt it.
Since I have nothing to talk about for the M14 pre-release because I didn't go because I was too
I was going to let
tired.
you open this, yeah. But I wanted to mention there's still 6 packs of Homelands and 3 packs of Ice Age in this thing. But Kathleen, what did we draw
We
with
drew
number 19?
Coldsnap.
Oh, snap.
Snap.
Oh, snap,
That's
cold
some-
snap.
That's some cold snap right there.
Can we just do that for like 5 more minutes?
Just snap jokes.
Just various cold snap
I don't
jokes?
think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Ooh. First thing in this pack is a snow-covered island.
Windmill slam.
All right, but getting to the real the real stuff.
Hmm?
Well,
What do I put in?
Expansion. At the top.
technical difficulties, technical difficulties. I am singing the technical difficulties.
It's not
song.
technical difficulties, it's Paul.
It's getting technical stuff worked out. Getting the technical stuff
You don't have to
worked
sing
out.
anymore.
Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Our first thing is Surging Might. Surging Might is an enchantment, and it casts for 2 and a green. Now, it has Enchant Creature, and Enchant Creature gets +2/+2, but it also has a Cold Snap specific mechanic, Ripple, and it has Ripple 4.
Is it Fudge Ripple?
No, it's a lot more words than fudge.
Okay.
When you play the spell, you may reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may play any revealed cards with the same name as the spell without paying their mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom of your library. This is like Proto-Cascade.
That's really cool. So the whole point of
Surging Might.
Ripple, and a couple other abilities from Cold Snap is they knew that Cold Snap would be a small set drafted with itself, so that you would end up with a lot of
The same cards.
the same card, and so they put mechanics in the set. I know we've mentioned this briefly before, but some people in the forums clarified it for us. They put a bunch of mechanics in the set that took advantage of that. Basically, I forgot to start our hourglass. That took advantage of that. So Ripple was a way that even if you had multiples of a card in your deck, it would be advantageous.
I mean, that's quite neat. Like, I wonder what it was like to, like, we weren't actually really playing when Cold Snap came out, but I wonder what it was like to play with, I mean, I guess it's sort of like when you do like a triple Dragon's Maze draft now,
Yeah.
except it's actually designed to be played that way.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine if you hit even one more Surging Might, then you've got either +4/+4 on one creature, or 2 or 1 on each of 2 creatures. Seems pretty sweet.
And the surging looks like surging was actually like a cycle. There was surging all sorts of things.
Yeah, I don't know about enchantments, but man, if they had creatures with Ripple, I would be so down with that. Next up, we have Boreal Griffin. He is a 3/2 flyer for 5, 3 colorless and 2 white. But that's not all. For a snow mana, which can be paid with any snow-covered land, he gains first strike until end of turn.
That seems all right.
I don't know. It's kind of conditional, but
Well, he's one more white than an Assault Griffin. Like, look at the Assault Griffin from Gatecrash. He's almost exactly the same, but he costs one more white. And for that white, you get optional First Strike for paying any snow-covered mana. It's not bad. It's probably
okay. I'd say he's a C
he was
using Marshall.
His community rating is very low.
he was probably fine in limited.
He was.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm guessing.
yeah, like, and again, of course, at this time, the power level was probably a lot lower.
I think so.
Yeah.
All right. So then we have another, in fact, surging card.
Oh.
This one is Surging Ether,
Ooh.
which is 1 blue and 3. It's an instant, and it has Ripple 4. Now I'm going to explain Ripple again. Return target permanent to its owner's hand.
Oh.
That's
So
good.
that's a really expensive.
Yeah, but for 4, that's tough.
It's really expensive Disperse because it's not Unsummon, it's Disperse, which
Yeah,
is
you gotta
target
leave out
permanent.
4 mana on your opponent's turn to really blow them out with this.
Well, you could be holding up a counterspell instead, and then if they don't cast anything, you can just bounce
Like-
something and maybe bounce.
And maybe you get a second Ripple.
Yeah.
But do you want to? I mean, you may play. Right?
That's tough though, because then you got to be running a lot of Surging Ethers in your deck.
And that's
Like-
I don't want to run more than
Like, how much
two
is
of
a
those.
disperse? It's 3?
2.
No, Disperse is 1 in a blue because it's return target permanent. Unsummon is just a single blue, and that's target creature. But this is permanent, so you could even bounce land with it.
See, but the trick is, like, with the
Actually, Disperse might even be non-land. I'm gonna have to look that up.
with the Ripple thing, like with this card, I could imagine quite a few situations where there's not necessarily 2 things that you want to bounce.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can't keep it in your hand.
Yeah, you may play it.
You may play
Or
it,
you
but
put it on the bottom of your
but if you don't,
library.
it's gone.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Disperse is
Target non-land permanent.
non-land permanent. This is anything.
This is so flat out anything.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
It's okay, but it's a lot. But here's something I would pay 4 mana for: Zombie Musher.
Yeah, the musher.
He's a 2/3 zombie for 1 black and 3. But he has Snow Land Walk, which a lot of people are going to be running snow.
So he's unblockable.
Basically, and you can regenerate him with by paying 1 snow covered mana.
Yeah, I'd take him.
Oh, absolutely! Like that guy seems really good.
Now, if you were playing this, like if you were drafting this, would you be using all snow-covered land?
I think so. Isn't that the point?
Or could you? I guess you would choose.
I guess
but-
you don't have to.
Right.
I don't know.
Now,
Anyhow.
is it
I'm
ours,
not sure if that was part of the format or not.
ours dog zombies as well?
They look like they're zombie dogs, or at least they're demon dogs.
Otherwise, those are going to be super freaked out dogs.
Oh, they look like zombies. I would just like to point out the mana curve on this is pretty high. Like there's like the lowest thing we've seen is 3, and it's not about to get any better because the next card is an Orcish Blood Painter. He is a 2/1 Orc Shaman.
I bet his art
He's-
is terrible.
He's so creative.
It's all right. And he casts for 2 and a red. So
You don't see orcs anymore.
no, I think they got rid of them in favor of giants and goblins.
Well, yeah, they just like orcs are now, instead of orcs, they just make like
Oh,
bigger goblins.
Yeah.
I was really excited for a second because I saw this next card has a casting cost of 1 white and 1, and I was like, great, awesome, finally a lower drop card. It's bad. It's Sun's Bounty. It's an instant.
Just briefly, the Orcish Blood Painter also seems pretty bad because
Oh, yes.
it's a tap ability.
Yes, sacrifice a creature. He deals 1 damage to
But
target
it's
creature. or
tap
player.
him and sack a creature. So you can't be like, in response to Wrath, I sack everything.
Yeah.
Really annoying.
Yeah, that's terrible.
So Sun's
He's
Bounty.
a 2/1 for 3 after that.
Ugh.
Sun's Bounty is also bad. You get it? You gain 4 life. But you can... It's got Recover for its casting cost. And now Recover is when a creature is put into your graveyard from play, you may pay 1 white and 1. And if you do, return this card from your graveyard to your hand. Otherwise, remove this card from the game. Oh, great. So I can pay again to gain 4 life at instant speed.
Except you'll be
But-
paying 4 for it the second time.
Now, unless I am mistaken, if you don't do that,
It's exiled.
yeah, you get 1 chance. You get the first chance
Right.
when something dies. And then if you do not take it up on that option, this card is exiled.
I would just like
Right.
to take a moment here to point out why life gain cards are bad. And I know Marshall of Limited Resources talks a lot about life gain cards are bad, but I was at Lady Planeswalkers last night, and I was playing against...
Well, limited resources is for spikes.
It's for spikes.
We tried to talk to the more casual player who might think that, hey, sweet, a card that gains life is awesome.
No, here's why it's bad. I was playing against a friend of mine, and she had tons of life gain stuff in her deck. And she's just like, yeah, our game was going to go on forever. And it was like, who knows who's going to win? And I was like, no, you were delaying the inevitable, because every time you played a life gain card, sure, you would gain back almost all the life I had taken off on you last turn, but you didn't then put down a creature or develop your board somehow that would allow you to kill my creatures or start attacking me. And so, yeah, it took me like 15 turns to kill her, but only because she was just like, woo, getting all this life, casting all these fogs.
It was
right?
never actually in question as to whether you would win. It was just how long it would take.
Yeah, right.
Life, like pure life gain cards do not help you win the game. They just stop you from losing, like temporarily.
Yeah, I will play a creature that gains me life, because that's
incidental life gain is great.
yes.
Yeah, it's actually
I'm not
interesting.
saying
the way
don't play life gain at all. I think it's a great strategy. There's creatures that when they come into the battlefield, they like make like in M13. There's the cat cleric that a creature enters your under the battlefield under your control. You get an incidental 2 life.
Or just like this,
Great
like
guy.
the centaur healer was one of the best creatures in RTR. Just in like Return to Ravnica, like triple RTR draft, and it's a 3/3 for 3, and you gain 3 life when it comes into play. It's really good.
Absolutely.
It's just weird the way that pure life gain is very bad, but incidental life gain is actually really good. And it's easy to it's like there's like gaining, like for instance here, like gaining 4 life if you also got like, I don't know, 2/2 creature off that or something.
That'd be great.
Oh my god, yeah, it would
Then
be like,
that'd
done.
be great, but it doesn't seem like on the to sort of the outside observer, it doesn't seem that much different.
Well, yeah, like
But
you look at
but this idea of that you're actually also developing your board is so important.
Well, I
Well,
mean the point, but hold on, I just want to point it out here. The reason
Yeah.
why, even though gaining life keeps you in the game, the issue being that you only have so many cards in your deck, and if you're playing a card like Sun's Bounty, you know that is basically it's a missed opportunity to have something that would either develop your board so you can kill my dudes or kill me. And you win a game of Magic by taking your opponent to 0 life, like 90% of the time, unless you're playing some sort of weird mill thing, right? In that case, you're probably going to be a more advanced player. Just for beginning players, you just want to cast dudes and attack, right? So life gain does not...
It's taking up the place of a card in your deck that could be doing something.
Yes.
And as Paul said, if you look at Rise of Eldrazi, which is on Magic Online the week that we're recording this, there's a card in Rise of Eldrazi that does exactly that. It is 1 and a white for the Lone Missionary. He is a 2/1, and when he enters the battlefield, you gain 4 life.
That's a great card.
And he's like, like he's great in limited. Like he's a 2/1 for 2, which is not an exciting creature,
Which is fine.
but you get 4 life, and he can block some things, and he can occasionally attack. But at worst, you're not only gaining 4 life, but you're also gaining however much life you end up chump blocking him with, right? Like someone's like, I attack with this 4-power guy. You're like, well, I throw my missionary away. That card has now sort of effectively gained me 8 life, right? So much better than this thing, especially with that stupid recover mechanic, which I hate.
Well, I could see. I mean, recover could be. I mean, I could see on like a burn spell or a creature or something. Recover could be quite powerful.
I think there are burn spells with recover.
There's a land destruction spell with recover.
Ugh,
Yeah,
that'd be nasty.
That's great for commander, I think.
I have it in my commander deck actually.
I bet you do.
Gross.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Thermopod, snow creature slug.
What?
He's a 4/3 for 5, 4 colorless and a red, and for 1 snow mana, Thermopod gains haste until end of turn. So if you cast him for 6 instead of 5, right? One of what you can have a 4/3 haste, right? And he also has a second ability: sacrifice a creature, add red to your mana pool. So that's kind of neat. If you're just chump blocking a bunch of stuff, you can be like, and like before damage is dealt, I sacrifice all these guys to Thermopod, and I gain a bunch of mana that I could use to like cast an instant or something. Like that's kind of a cool thing.
Okay, can I do a quick flavor analysis on this card?
Yes.
Okay, so judging by the art, the Thermopod, he's a giant slug, but he's very hot on the inside. He's called the Thermopod. You can see that there's a red glow from inside him. He's got steam coming out of him. So he's a big slug.
He's a hot slug.
when he's on snow, he moves faster
Because he's
Oh,
like
'cause
melting.
he's
it
melting
underneath.
because he's
away.
melting in the snow into like a little like
Oh.
slippy icy thing. And you see how big the people are in comparison.
So if
Right.
you just like throw a person in there.
If a guy goes up and attacks him or whatever, then he gets red mountain lava energy out of him, like the Acrid in Lost Planet.
Mm.
At
Well, I was
least,
thinking-
at
or
least
you
that's
I
my
think-
interpretation.
I'm thinking it's basically you throw a creature and like you sacrifice a creature to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like you throw a creature into his mouth,
And
and
you
then he
get
basically
some-
just like farts out
Some heat.
fire out the back.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like this is actually kind of like what? Look at this creature from like.
Oh, sorry. Look at the actual flavor text. Slicking the ice with its heated underside,
There you go.
the thermopod skates at great speed to overtake its prey. Well, there we go. I was right.
But like from a sort of limited resources evaluation perspective here, okay? So a 4-3 for 5 straight.
That's fine.
It's okay. It's
Okay,
not
but not-
amazing.
It's
you're not-
fine.
It's not amazing.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not excited, but I'll play it.
C minus.
A 4-3 haste for 6. I would call that worse than
Yeah.
a 4-3 for 5. Like
I think it is actually.
like
Yeah,
haste
it
is
is.
not generally worth. Like haste by itself is not generally worth 1.
Especially
No.
for 3, like for 6 and a red in RTR, we got Tenement Crasher, who was a 5/4 with haste,
Right.
and
And I mean it is.
That was for 7.
I mean in this
right?
set it's
Nope,
effectively
the Tenement Crasher was 6.
Oh, for
in
5
this
and a red then.
like in this set it's effectively 1 colorless, so that's a little bit better.
Yeah,
And like how relevant do you think that the main thing I can think of for the last ability would be just like I don't know if there's like a fireball type effect in
Well, like I
in-
just said, like if you're making a bunch of chump blocks, you can sack them to have mana that's not going to empty from your mana pool, right? Until the end of turn.
yeah. So I mean you got to have something to do with the mana though.
it's
yeah.
no, it still empties. Your mana pool empties after the combat phase.
Oh,
Yeah.
but you can use it to cast like a lightning bolt or
So you got to have an
Yeah.
instant.
something.
To, But like the main thing I can see it being used for is some sort of X spell that you sacrifice all your creatures and win the game.
Yeah,
I
I think there is some variant of Fireball in Coldsnap.
Yeah. So but like other than that,
This guy seems pretty bad.
it seems not so good. Yeah.
He's
Unless there's something that's going to create like a bunch of counters. that you could
Basically,
sack.
he's basically look at him as a 4/3 for 5. I don't think his abilities in a
yeah,
vacuum are going to
which
be that
is,
good.
he's like he's okay, and he
Watch
might
it.
fill out. He can fill
I'm
out your
sure.
curve.
I'm
but-
sure someone in the forums will be like, "Man, Thermopod was key to the Blurg deck in Coldsnap."
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure it was.
But
All right, here's a card I would play. Simeon Brawler. It is a 3/3 for 3 and a green, which is just fine.
he's
That is-
he's a Green Hill Giant.
He's a green hill giant. That's fine. I'm not like, whoa, my God, such
It's-
value, but it's fine.
Yep, it's under the curve for green generally,
he
but
It
it's
is.
not bad. Yeah,
He eats though, like the zombie, like he kills the zombie
Well,
musher.
you can't. You probably can't block the zombie musher, but
No,
still.
but I mean maybe. Like he'll kill the thermopod, he'll kill everything else except for the boreal griffin because it has flying. So keep that in mind. And he has another ability: discard a land card. Simeon Brawler gets +1/+1 till end of turn, which is not going to be useful early in the game, but late in the game if you're flooding out or you have a grip of land
Yeah,
in your
that
hand,
seems
which
fun.
sometimes happens.
Seems
might
fine.
as well. Yeah,
I'm going to say that's a very conditional upside. You might never use it, but you might also be able to use it to really blow somebody out. So I'm going to give this card
Yeah.
a C+.
This guy's perfectly fine.
you could easily be like near the end of the game, have like 2 or 3 lands in your hand
Mm-hmm.
that you've just been holding for a while. Attack. The guy doesn't think you have any. The guy is at 5. Boom, boom, he's dead.
Yeah.
Normally I mean +1/+1 seems a little stingy for discarding a whole land,
a whole card. Yeah.
but
That's fine. And there's nothing wrong with playing a Hill Giant or a Canyon Minotaur.
Exactly. It's still a 3/3 for 3.
I
at
also
the end of
wouldn't
the
be
day.
surprised if this is another guy that if you have
As you say, in
if you have
green-
something like Surge's crazy like land recycling
Oh
deck,
yeah.
I bet there's actually some combos with
As you
this
say in
guy.
green, you'd be looking for like a
he
3/4.
combo's great with
but
Knight of the Reliquary because he gives you an outlet to discard land.
Yeah, anything that actually cares about or dredging or not dredging, but anything that actually cares about having land in your graveyard, this guy could be quite fun with.
He'd probably be good in Commander because you have more land than you can possibly know what to do with eventually in that format.
Probably.
All right, more ramp. This is another red card. It's called Rite of Flame.
Oh, there's called more ramp.
No.
More
So,
ramp.
1 red, and it's a sorcery. Add red to your mana pool. So for 1 you get 2. Then add another red to your mana pool for each card named Red of Flame in each graveyard.
In each graveyard.
So if nothing, you know, at bare minimum, you're getting 2 mana for 1, which is kind of shitty ramp.
This card seems pretty terrible, actually.
Seems pretty awful, but if there's a lot of them,
it's also sorcery speed.
it could get good. And you said this was a small set, so this might be the kind of thing where it looks like shit to us because you play one of them, but during drafting it was probably really good because you probably could in the right you might sideboard this in the right kind of match, you'd get 6 mana off it or something for 1 red.
Yeah, I mean it's
if you had a couple and your opponent had a couple. I mean, maybe 6 is
there's
a little much.
I think 6 is...
The
you get 2, and then if there's 2 more in each of your graveyards.
That seems highly unlikely.
All right, you probably get 3.
All right.
This is another cycle that was in Coldsnap. The ones that care about how many other copies of it are in the graveyard. Incidentally, if you cast this, or if you had a Ripple card, or no, that doesn't work.
No,
Forget that. But there's a cycle, and the burn one is actually pretty good.
Yes.
I forget what it's called. But
Pardic Flame?
I'm just saying it seems bad, but the community rating is 4.64, which means it would probably put in work during.
My problem with it, with the thing that you just said, you got a couple in your graveyard, they got a couple in their graveyard. That means that they've also gotten pretty big value off of it too, because they would have had to have cast that. And remember, when they cast it, it's also counting the ones in your graveyard.
Yeah, as the first comment says, you can go Mountain, Rite of Flame, Rite of Flame, Rite of Flame, and then you have a fucking ton of mana, and you can cast a crazy turn 1 card.
If you have 3 of them in your opening hand, sure.
Well, here's something you can do with that
oh,
mana.
it was also the reason why it's so high is it's a storm card, right?
Oh, of course. Yes. Pauper Storm. Continue.
Anyhow, here's something you can do with all that mana. Lightning Storm.
Yay.
It's 1 colorless 2 red. It deals X damage to target creature or player, where X is 3 plus the number of charge counters on it. Now this is an instant, but discard a land card. Put 2 charge counters on Lightning Storm. You may choose a new target for it. Any player may play this ability, but only if Lightning Storm is on the stack. This is a fucking complicated card.
You're putting counters on a thing on the stack?
On an instant?
Yeah, this is...
Sorry, can I see this? That seems super messed up.
This is a bad... I'm going to say this is kind of badly designed card.
X damage to target creature player X is 3 plus the number of charge counters on it. To discard a land, put 2 charge counters on Lightning Storm. So if you cast it and then in response to your own thing before you pass priority, you discard a land, you will put 2 charge counters on it, meaning it will deal 5 damage total. You may choose a new target for it. What?
So you can change the target. And you know why you can change the target?
Because then they can do it. Any player. So you cast it and you're going to go, I 3 your guy. And they go, no, I discard a land and put 2 counters on it and I 5 you. And then you go, no, I discard a land and put 2 counters on it and I 7 you.
I would just never play this card.
That's interesting, actually.
It's interesting, but...
It's like, when I first read it, I thought it was like Chain Lightning, like it was actually copying itself each time.
Yeah, I was really confused.
But having it sort of whoever discarded... So, I mean, the deck that you play this in, obviously, you just have to make sure that you've got more land in your hand than he does, which is not that hard, Well,
because you know you have it.
Yeah, you're stockpiling land in your hand, and presumably he wouldn't be. So the chances of you actually being able to put this out and do some serious damage is pretty good.
I mean, yeah, if they don't do anything, and you have, say you've been sandbagging 3 land, then that's 2 or 6. That's 9 damage
for
3.
Sort of for 3.
For 3 and discarding 3 lands.
All right. Next.
I'm not a huge fan, but it's interesting.
Next.
And putting counters on things on the stack is weird.
That's super weird.
It's like you put the counter and then the counter
I'm
falls.
imagining these counters are floating.
Yeah,
Floating
it's
in the
like...
Sorry, what do you got?
I have a card called Mystic Melting,
Ew.
which is 3 and a green. It's an instant. Destroy target artifact or enchantment.
Okay.
So it's a naturalize. But
It's
it has
expensive.
an upside. Draw a card at the beginning of next turn's upkeep.
Oh, so it's naturalize
Plus draw a card.
plus draw a card.
So you're paying for the naturalize, and you're paying a bonus 2 to draw an extra card, which is okay. I mean, green doesn't get a lot of card
That's
draw.
fine for green.
Yeah,
still
2 to
not
draw
gonna
1
main
is
deck
not usually that
this.
good.
Card draw is always more expensive in green.
That's true. Also, it's having the card draw weirdly delayed is odd.
There's a lot at the time. There's a lot that did that.
So you would this is instant. So you would play this. So you would play this during his turn, and then you would just draw 2 cards on your turn, basically. Is how you would probably play it. Most
Or
of the
you
time,
could do it main phase, your turn, and then you would draw a card at the beginning of their turn,
which is kind of weird.
which is a little weird, but whatever.
All right. Next, I have a really interesting artifact, and I can think of a way to really make use of this in Commander. Cold Steel Heart.
Ooh, the Cold Steel Heart is in the cube. It's one of the most popular mana rocks.
It's a great mana rock because it's 2, and it comes into play tapped. As it comes into play, choose a color, and then you tap it to add 1 mana of the chosen color to your mana pool.
Seems great.
That's great.
Yeah, that's just nice and simple.
Nice and simple. And if you needed off-color mana activation, like you're playing like that you wouldn't normally have access to, for some weird fucking reason in Commander, you can obviously name any color with this, and you really screw your opponents over. If
Also,
they
I
have
just like the
anything.
name, the Cold Steel Heart.
Yeah,
that's
the coming to play tapped definitely kills its.
I think it'd be too powerful otherwise.
Well, but if it wouldn't be that powerful otherwise, because you're only getting 1 mana out of it.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. I really like that card because it's really, really, really good fixing. Like, you don't have to sacrifice anything. And, like, most mana sources that, like, are flexible and can give you, like, off colors or something like that usually come into play tapped. There's some drawback, so I think that's fine.
I mean, it's like, Birds of Paradise, it's sort of the same deal.
Yeah.
But on a creature.
Yeah.
All right, but here's the thing I would definitely take from this set. This is the Artikar Valkyrie.
Oh, the Adarkar Valkyrie is in Modern Masters.
Yeah, she's super, super good card.
She's really
Is
good.
this our rare?
This is our rare, and it's really good. She's a 4/5 flying vigilance for 6.
Done. Sold. Sign
right?
me up.
Yeah,
I'll take
okay, that is just that. Like that's 2 white and 4 colorless.
it. Big Angel Bomb. That's all you need.
Great.
Yeah.
4/5 flying. Considering the size of everything else we've seen in this set,
Yeah.
Well,
that's great.
I don't even need to hear the rest of it.
It's a Sarah Angel with
Plus.
one more toughness
And vigilance.
and costs 1 more mana. Sarah Angel has vigilance.
Oh, does she?
Yep.
I have not played with that card in a long time. Anyhow, but wait, there's more.
How much
Tap.
would you pay?
Tap this vigilant creature. When target creature other than Artikar Valkyrie is
There's
put
no
into
first R. It's just Adarkar.
a Darkar. A Darkar is put into a graveyard this turn. You may return that card to play under your control.
Say what?
So that's super cool with the vigilance.
Mm-hmm.
Because that means you can attack with your whole team, and then when one of your guys dies, tap out the Valkyrie.
Or one of their guys dies, or you use a removal spell on you, like destroy their best creature, and
Right.
then it's yours now.
And yet she's still on the front lines attacking.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't have to tap to it.
That's just
awesome.
so good.
Windmill slam.
Slam.
Ooh, and you have a foil.
We got a foil, which is a 1/1 for 1.
Boo.
Martyr
Boo.
of Ashes.
Boo.
Now
That is
she
another.
is a human shaman.
Okay.
For 2, reveal X cards from your hand. Sacrifice Martyr of Ashes. Reveal X red cards from your hand. Martyr of Ashes deals X damage to each creature without flying. If you're playing mono red, this is very good removal.
Actually, yeah, that's kind of a sweet, like, quasi-wrath. Usually red has difficulty hitting creatures with flying.
Because you don't have to tap her to do this, so you play her for 1. You got a couple other red cards in there, and you can easily do 2 damage to each creature. Now it's gonna hit your creatures as well as theirs.
That's why she's the martyr. She's definitely gonna die.
Yeah. I mean, you have to sacrifice part of the casting, or as part of the activating of that ability, but
I actually, for flavor reasons, I would actually prefer it if
she died as a result of
you didn't have to sacrifice her, because there's no way she's not going to die anyway. I mean, I guess unless you buff up her toughness or something. But
Well, no, because you have to sacrifice her.
well, I know, but
I don't know. I think she's kind of neat, but I'm gonna windmill slang the Matt Valkyrie and just
yeah, the martyrs are another cycle.
So that was fun. That was
Coldsnap.
Coldsnap. That took a long time. Let's talk about M14.
All right. Well,
I was not at the pre-release, so I'm just gonna kind of sit this out.
yeah. Of the 3 of us, only myself went to the M14 pre-release. James also did as well, but as we said, he's not here. But Cam was there, and Missy was there, and a bunch of our local friends. You know, everyone who was in the latest episode of Friday Nights were all there, and
Except me, because I was not feeling well.
yeah. But it was fun. It's I know that M14's power level perhaps is not as strong, as recent sets, but that doesn't matter in the vacuum of playing M14, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, if it as long as it's relative to itself, it's fine.
it doesn't matter. Yeah.
I guess it means if you're playing, if people are like in Constructed or Legacy, they aren't very excited.
Yeah. I ended up at the end of the day with a record of 3-2, so I won 5 packs.
Nice.
Which was nice. We did a 5-round Swiss. I really wanted to try and make Bear Force 1 happen. A lot of people were like, are you going to do Bear Force 1? Actually, I had a couple people say that they made Bear Force 1 at their pre-release and did quite well with it, but unfortunately, I just couldn't get there.
Not enough bears.
Not enough bears. But I did end up with really good blue, so I was definitely running blue. And then I wasn't sure what support color to run it with. I was like, okay, I've got 2 good removal spells in black. I had a Doomblade and the Liturgy of Blood.
The one where it's like you
The one
pay
that
5 and you kill something, but you also add 3 to your mana pool.
Yeah, you Dark Ritual afterwards. Yeah, Liturgy of Blood. I had that, and I was like, all right. So if I run those, like that's an awkward splash, and I didn't have any fixing, so I'd rather not splash if I can avoid it. So I was like, all right, well, let's do blue with some black. Or I could do blue with some green. My green creatures on average are better than my black creatures, but then I'm losing, but my black spells are better. Wasn't really sure. Ended up going blue-black. Got ruined in round 1 by our friend Alistair, who's...
Apparently had a horrible sliver deck, though. Apparently he ruined everybody.
His pre-match mind games were the worst part, because he was like, he put 2 decks down in front of you, and it was like, which deck do you want me to play? It was like left hand, right hand, right? And you're like, really? You were able to build 2 functional decks out of your sealed pool? And he's like, yeah, which one do you want? And I'm like, which way are you going to kill me? Let me see, sword or pistol? Sword or pistol?
It would be amazing if the whole thing was a bluff and it was like one deck and then just a bunch of random shit cards.
That would have been good.
And he was just like the most perfect poker face ever.
Sadly, that did not end up happening. And
no, he went like undefeated, didn't he?
No, he was in fact beaten in the last round by Cam.
Okay, so he went 4-1.
Yeah. After he beat me summarily, we went over my deck and decided that it would actually be better for me to run blue with white.
Oh.
Yeah. So some cards that very much impressed me. The Nephalia Sea Kite was back from Innistrad block. And it was great in Innistrad block, and it's great here. It's 2/3 flash flyer for 4.
Oh yeah, he's a house.
He's a great little surprise. Be like, ooh, get you, block you, attack next turn.
I imagine a lot of people fell for that trick.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Marshall was talking about how it's like as which happened in Innistrad for the first 3 or 4 weeks. You're going to get people over and over with it again.
Yeah.
And then people are going to figure it out.
And you can just leave 4 mana open and they probably won't even attack.
Yeah, because, I mean, you do have to leave 4 mana open, so it's a pretty obvious...
But then you can fake them out if you have dirt.
Right, exactly. You'd be like, what am I going to do with this 4 mana?
Yep. The Trained Condor and Scroll Thief combo was a lot of fun.
Oh, to make the Scroll Thief fly and actually do
a good
job?
They were talking so much about the Trained Condor.
On the Limited Resources podcast?
Yeah,
Brian was like, my buddy.
My best friend, Trained Condor.
Yeah. Let's grab Trained Condor here.
I'm trying to think. I should have actually brought my
Condor Man.
Brought my deck in, or so the Trained Condor. He's a 2/1 for 3. Whenever he attacks, you can make something else. You can give something else flying. So you attack with both those guys, and you go, and they're both flying. Whee!
He's one of those guys where he's like, okay, sure, he's not that exciting, but just in terms of efficiency.
Mm-hmm. One that really worked well for me actually was Blessing. Turns out that the enchantments in this set are actually really good
because there's so little removal
within this environment. Yeah, and Blessing is quite strong. And now that I was running more heavy white, it was really good. So it's white to cast. Enchanted creature has 4/1 white. Give it +1/+1 till end of turn.
So it's incredibly conditional. You have to pay for it and then be able to pay more for it.
He's got fire breathing and butt breathing.
But I tell you, that's really good on a Phantom Warrior, which is a 2/2, casts for 1 blue, and is unblockable.
Yeah.
So I was getting in for 5 damage with the Phantom Warrior every turn.
Yeah. And not much removal.
No. And then the other one that I thought was really good was...
I liked this. Alpha, Beta, Unlimited, Revised, 4th Edition, M14.
Yeah.
It's been 10 years.
I didn't
Or
even-
not 10 years. I don't know how long ago 4th
I
Edition
didn't
was.
even realize it was a reprint.
What does the 4th edition art look like? I bet it doesn't look as nice. Ugh.
Oh, this one. I know this guy. I've got that card.
What it look? Is that the same art it's had all the whole time? Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like the new version.
Could you go back to the M14 list? Because I think it's I want to say it's Celestial something. I can't quite read the list from here. Celestial Flare.
Celestial Flare.
That was good. Surprisingly good. So it's white. Target player sacrifices an attacking or blocking creature. There are many instances where you can get someone with this. Basically just sacrifice the creature I want you to.
Right. I mean, it's sort of like Condemn, except a little bit more tricky to
Well,
get
because if
going,
they're
but-
going in with one attacker, like a big dude, and you play this, they're like,
Yeah, like there's a lot of situations in Limited where someone can only attack with one creature.
this would have
Right.
been amazing. Like, I know why they didn't do it, but to have this in the same set with Exalted.
Ugh.
Ugh.
And then
Yeah, they wanted people to actually play Exalted.
yeah, and then same with like same with blocking, right? Like I attack with this guy, and they're like, all right, I block with this guy, and I'm like, well, that guy dies.
Yeah, unless they're double blocking or
No,
something.
there's-
Yeah.
No, you sacrifice him at instant speed in the damage.
If they're double blocking, then you're probably getting a 2-for-1 out of it.
That's true.
So
That's true, actually,
that's
yeah.
fine.
And both
Because then
cards
you're
die.
taking them out of the actual combat damage too.
Yeah.
Good call.
Good
call.
And I also managed to get someone pretty well with Disperse, which I was talking about earlier, which
Always
is
nice.
Turn
one in a
target non-land permanent to your hand,
for 1 in a blue.
or to its owner's hand.
Yeah, they
51,
managed
Paul.
to ramp out.
The numbers don't help because they're not in
It's not in
numerical
number
order.
order, yeah.
No, you're-
Yeah, so Disperse is a reprint from Morningtide and was reprinted recently in Scars of Mirrodin.
Mm-hmm.
And
it had different art and scars, didn't it?
yeah, this is the Morningtide art. The Scars of Mirrodin art was weird, and I'm not sure, some Phyrexian being unsummoned or something. Anyway, my opponent managed to get
There's
out
a Mirren card.
a Shadowborn Demon,
Blah.
which is very, very, very scary. The Shadowborn Demon, actually, could you bring up the Shadowborn Demon? I need to remind myself what it actually
Why it was so horrifying?
does. It's a big flyer, and
Is it more than just a big flyer?
yeah, but it has a drawback, which is that.
He's the guy that goes with the apostle.
Oh right, so it's a 5/6 for 5.
That's
5/6
great.
flyer for 5.
Oh my
That's
God.
amazing.
Crushes the vanilla test under its hoof.
When it enters the battlefield, destroy target non-demon creature, i.e., destroy any creature.
Right.
Because how many demons is your opponent running? But the downside, at the beginning of your upkeep, if there are fewer than 6 creature cards in your graveyard, sacrifice a creature. So once you get up to 6 guys, that drawback stops. But you have to have 6 creatures in the graveyard. There's a amusing synergy with this and the Shadowborn Apostle, that you can have any number of Shadowborn Apostles, and if you have 6 of them and you sacrifice all 6 of them, they
Right.
go to your graveyard, and you can go looking for a demon, and you get the demon, and you don't have the drawback.
I mean,
So my opponent did this, killed a guy, passed the turn, and then I was able to disperse their other creature and pass the turn back. During their upkeep, they had no creatures in their graveyard, and then they had to sacrifice a creature, and the only creature they could sacrifice was the Shadowborn Demon.
They
they don't have to sacrifice a creature every turn. It's just when he enters the battlefield.
Nope, every
At the
turn.
beginning of your upkeep.
At the beginning of your upkeep.
At the beginning of your upkeep, if there are
Fewer than
sacrifice. Oh, I see. Sacrifice a creature. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So until you get 6 guys in your graveyard, you have to
Right.
sacrifice a creature every upkeep, and this was their only creature.
What's
why would they have
interesting?
played it that early? With only 2
To
creatures?
destroy me. If
I
I didn't
guess.
have dispersed, like they had endless creatures to play and to play in. Like they would have got me if I hadn't had
And I guess
dispersed.
even if you only get in twice with that guy, because you have to sack
He's
the rest of your board, you
terrifying.
still got in you still put in fucking 10 flying damage in.
I mean, what's interesting is the by making it target non-demon creature, it means that he can never, like, if you've got nothing on board and the other guy has nothing on board, if you play him, he doesn't have to sack himself.
Exactly.
Or
Which-
kill himself.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
happens sometimes to other kinds of creatures.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And one more card I want to talk about was my favorite card, because I didn't pull that many good rares. Certainly not ones of my colors. But my favorite card that I pulled was the Haunted Plate Mail. I was very
Oh,
excited about this. So it's an equipment. It's 4 to play.
He combos great with that demon.
Yeah, and 4 to equip. And he gives the equipped creature +4/+4.
That seems
Just-
very
That's
good.
fine.
Pretty decent. I
That's-
mean, it's expensive, but it's decent.
But it's powerful.
Yeah,
Like
+4/+4 will do a lot.
I put that on a Phantom Warrior. It was really good. I put that on a Flyer. It was really, really good. I got this guy a lot. He was really, really excellent. But, and I love the flavor of this, if you control no other creatures, i.e. when no one else is around,
Right.
you can, for 0, at instant speed, turn him into a 4/4 creature. So if you control nothing else but you have this equipment, you can go, oh yeah, he's a creature now, attack. Or, oh, you're attacking me. He's a creature now, block.
Right.
And it makes him hard to remove because he's only a creature. You can't then turn him to be not a creature, but your opponent doesn't get to remove him whenever they want. It's only when you've already made him a creature.
Right. I mean, he's like the Glinthawk idols, like the idols that they had in Zendikar, I guess
Yeah,
it was.
this guy would get into Jer's Dao-Chan commander deck
Oh yeah, definitely.
because his whole thing is
Except when Dao Chan's out, it doesn't work.
yes, but still,
But yeah, I do. The flavor of that is super nice.
yeah. When no one else is around. Yes,
He's almost like a living weapon,
Mm-hmm.
just sort of in a different way.
I did also get the Wind Reader Sphinx. That was my big mythic. It was
Isn't that draw 3?
we mentioned it. No, we mentioned it in the in Friday nights.
Yeah.
As the crazy blue mythic, and I got to draw a couple cards off of him. He's a or she, I guess, is a 3/7 for 5 blue, so 3/7 for 7 flyer. So maybe not super aggressive, but great on blocks. I tell you, really, really, really good on blocks. And whenever a creature with flying attacks, doesn't have to be this creature with flying, doesn't even have to be your creature with flying. Whenever a creature, yours or theirs, with flying attacks, you may draw a card.
Going right into my Una commander deck.
If
Really good.
yeah, for 7, I would like her to have vigilance. If she had vigilance,
I never
don't think
attacked
you
with her
ever attack
anyway.
with this thing.
I never
It's-
attacked with her anyway, just because I was keeping her back to block. And
Right.
if you you can, at least in my experience, especially in sealed, which is a slower format anyway, if you can get you can get up to 7 pretty easily, and then she can just sit there and block. And like my opponent had in the game that I got her out had a creature with lightning talons and another enchantment on it, and it was like it was like a 6/4 with first strike, and I was like, all right, I got this 7/3. I'm not going to kill your guy, but I can block it all day long.
But if your opponent isn't attacking you with flying creatures, you're not actually getting any of that benefit out of it.
No, but when you get
True.
it, when you attack with flying creatures,
Yeah,
too,
but if you're not
right?
attacking with her, then you
well,
then
you
have
might
to have
have
another
other flyers.
But I
Yeah,
had-
you have to have
yeah.
another flyer to
Which
make it work.
which
is what I'm
I
saying.
mean, in this deck I did. I had, like I said, I had 2 sea kites. I had a trained condor, which could give something else flying. I
Right,
had
that's true.
It's a
that
good card.
terrible 1/3, the blue Concordia Pegasus, who just looks like he's so happy. He's a something Drake. He's got a big smile on his face. He's just really happy. Anyway, I had a lot of flyers. Is the point? Actually, I had a lot of evasion. I had, like I said, I had that unblockable guy
right.
and flyers, and I had like the Master of Diversion, who could make
Surprise!
who could tap something, and
He's really good, actually.
yeah, Master of Diversion was a lot of fun. Basically, I had a lot of ways of getting things through, which was good. So I had a ton of fun with it. I know that people are sort of general consensus among sort of fans of Magic who've been around for a couple of years is that they're disappointed with M14 because the power level is lower, certainly for things for constructed.
And we're also coming
which
off
is fair.
Return to Ravnica and like Modern
Well,
Masters.
yeah, I mean the
We've had
real
some really good blocks.
the real trick is that, I mean, even though Modern Masters wasn't a block,
Yeah.
it is still the most recent thing in people's minds.
Yeah.
And Modern Masters, everything is amazing.
Yeah.
So it's
so-
hard to compare to that.
Which is fair, but it's meant to be drafted in and of itself, and I look forward to doing that. I think it'll be a fun set to draft by itself. I think that there's enough entertaining interactions in there that I think it'll be like the cards might not be great in the history of Magic, but in the vacuum of M14, I think they're probably just fine. That remains to be seen, but I think they're probably fine.
Did you notice any trends in terms of power levels of like different colors and stuff?
Not really. I didn't see like a wide variety of stuff. I saw a
like,
good
I've heard that,
slivers
like-
deck that was kind of scary.
And slivers are only in 3 colors now instead of all 5.
Yeah, well, there's a rare sliver in every color, but yeah, it's not.
And I've heard that black creatures are a little bit underpowered.
Well, that's
Why
what I
don't
was
we
saying.
have this discussion after more of us have played M14 rather
Well,
than
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, I don't think I played enough to get a real good handle on it.
All right. Well, yeah. Well,
So-
maybe if not
we'll
the
return to this topic.
next week, but in a few weeks when I have a little bit more experience with M14.
Yeah, I got to get down to the store and try to do another. I haven't live drafted in so long. I got to get down there and try that out.
All right. That was Tap Tap Concede.
It was Tap Tap Concede.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks for being part of our concession.
And if you watched, thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Talk to you next time. Bye.